Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is FPL Elma, and today we're going to be going through my watch list for Gameweek 2, just in brackets, players to target, and hope that we'll be able to help you guys out if you're looking for some players to replace the injured players from Gameweek 1, or just trying to get some money from somewhere. This might be able to help you. But before we get into that, if you are new around here, make sure you subscribe. Aiming to get 400 subscribers before the end of the month, so make sure you subscribe and also leave a like on the channel. It really helps out the channel. So without wasting any much time, let's get straight into it. So the first position you're going to look at is defenders, especially for those who are looking to replace Timber. If you had Timber in your team, I think he suffered an ACL injury, so he's going to be out for some time. So you sort of think some of the players you can be looking at if you want to bring him in, or just if you just want to rotate your team. So we have Chilwell there at 5.6 million. His price has just gone up from 5.5 million, and it's projected it's going to go up again to 5.7 million. So I suggest you make your moves quickly if you want to bring him in. They play West Ham next, which I think is going to be a relatively easy fixture, and then the three fixtures after that look relatively easy as well. I think Chelsea looked well. Chilwell playing that left mid position managed to also get an assist. I think is a very good option. Then you have Rhys James just for the same reason as Chilwell at only 5.5 million. There's a slight concern that maybe he came out in the game against Liverpool with an injury, but Pochettino confirmed it was not injury, it was fatigue. So maybe that's something to watch out for. He may need to be completing a lot of 90 minutes, but I think he's also as good as Chilwell in that game. Did not get the assist, but I think he was also decent. 95.5 million, I think it's a big differential, but I think he's also decent. He played in the right mid position. I think he's also a solid option. Then the other player from Manchester United, on Isak, he looked a little bit threatening while going forward. He managed to get an assist and also managed to get those clean sheet points. I think he swept up all the 3 bonus points for that game. But the slight concern I have United players is the fixtures, because they play Tottenham game week 2, then game week 4 and 5 they have Arsenal and Brighton respectively there. So I think it's a tough run of fixtures for United, but I think they'll be able to overcome it. Even when Saka plays the way played against Wolves, I think he'll be able to get a lot of attacking returns as well. And then we can move on to the midfielders. I have just had news that Kevin De Bruyne might be out for a few months. So I think that's very unfortunate, because he looked like an exciting player for the season. But these are some of the midfielders I think who are ones to watch if you're considering to get midfielders in your team, maybe to replace Kevin De Bruyne, who's injured. So I've gone for the likes of Rodri, who looked really good in that opening fixture against Burnley. I know they play Newcastle, which is a tough fixture, but I think they're at home, so I think it's going to be a different story for Newcastle this time. I think Man City are very dominant at home, so I'm sure the likes of Rodri are going to be up for the game. He was City's best player against Burnley, managed to get a goal and an assist. The only slight concern is that he's a CDM. He may not be in those situations a lot, but I think he's a good option at 5.6 million. I think he's a decent option, a decent bargain price as well. Then you have James Maddison, managed to get 2 assists, and he might be on penalties. We would not know who's on penalties for Spurs, but I think I'd put him above Richarlison in that list. Spurs did not get a penalty, so we're yet to see who's going to be on pens. But I think with the fixtures for Tottenham also very good. Game week 3, 4 and 5, they play Bournemouth, Burnley and Sheffield. I think it's worth the risk if you want someone who looks like the most creative player in Spurs at the moment, who's going to get those attacking returns. I think Maddison is the type of guy to do that. Then the last player for the midfield positions, we have Diaby. Looked like the one who was going to score every time the ball went to him in that Aston Villa attacking line. Managed to get the goal, but unfortunately they were defeated very heavily by Newcastle. But those fixtures coming up, Everton, Burnley and Crystal Palace in their next 5 fixtures. I think he's worth the bargain at 6.5 million. I think he'll do the job that you want in that midfield. And the final positions we have there are forwards. I think the forwards this game week, I think they stole the show. There were points everywhere along that midfield, along that forward line, especially for the likes of Isak. Managed to score 2 goals in the opening fixture against Aston Villa, which I thought it was a very tough fixture for them. But they managed to overcome it with a 5-1 win. Isak managed to score 2 goals. He looked amazing. Almost even scored a hat-trick, by it not for Martinez and some defensive clearances from Watkins. I think he could have got the hat-trick. There is slight concern I have with Newcastle players with that run of fixtures: Man City, Liverpool, Brighton and Brentford. In the next 4 fixtures, I think it's a tough run of fixtures. But you never know, man. If you want to take a punt on Isak, you can be able to take a punt on him. I think he'll manage to score in some of those fixtures. Liverpool will not look good defensively against Chelsea, but Man City, man, they just don't show any type of weaknesses in their defense. So I think it's going to be tough. Maybe the Liverpool, Brighton, Brentford, Sheffield fixtures, that's when you can start looking at him. But for now, I say just avoid. But if you want to take a risk, you can. That's a concern I have about Isak is Wilson, who's also there. He managed to come on and score a goal. So there might be a slight rotation risk between Isak and Wilson. So that's something to watch out for. And I advise you guys to watch out for that before you jump on the Isak bandwagon. Then the other player is João Pedro, 5.5 million forward, who plays for one of the best teams in the league and is on penalties. I thought the penalty during the weekend was a very lucky penalty, but who am I to complain being a United fan? you know what happened on Monday. So I think João Pedro there, 5.5 million, I think is a decent option. On penalties, as I've mentioned, managed to score the goal. The next round of fixtures, Wolves, West Ham, I think he might score some goals there. So I think if you want to loosen some funds and maybe from Watkins to João Pedro, I think it's a very decent shout. Then the last player on the watch list is going to be Wissa. He looked very good against Spurs. Managed to score a goal. I think he could have had another goal if he tried a little bit more. But for 6 million, I think it's a decent option. And also no fixtures of Brentford. I think they're very, very good. Fulham, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth and Everton. I think those are very decent fixtures. And if you want a Brentford player, because Tony is still a while back before he comes back, I think Wissa is a very decent option and plays for a very attacking team. So those are some of the players that I'm watching for Game Week 2. Those are players to consider also if you're trying to make some transfers. I think they're going to score a lot of points in the coming game weeks. So with that, I'd like to thank you all guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it, and I'll see you all guys later. Bye-bye.